So what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we're here with Dr. LaTasha and Mark Blanton. I know you remember them from the Real South Africa, and some of you have been, emailing me, about them, asking about, South Africa, when, because of COVID, a lot of things got postponed, and we'll get some updates from them about us being, last time I checked, we were banned from South Africa, but, thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
All right, so let me get to that point about Americans. Are we still banned out of South Africa?
Well, it's funny you say that. Tonight, which is here 8 o'clock our time tonight. The president, Cyril Ramaphosa, he gets on national TV. And he's giving an update like he does. He gives an update of what's going on. He's very famous for saying, "My fellow South Africans." And as soon as he says that, everybody's like, "Oh my God!"
Oh, what's he going to say?
Yeah, what is he going to say?
What's the bad news?
Yeah, so he goes through what he's going to do, and one of the things that he's basically talking about opening up certain arenas. And one of the arenas that he literally just opened up a few hours ago was international travel. To everyone, to include those countries that were banned.
That means you, America.
Yeah. So the only thing that they're going to do now is require a COVID test 72 hours before arrival, and that's it. So now everything is actually back on.
Okay, so are your lockdowns completely done, or are they worrying about a second lockdown? Because I know in Europe they already doing, especially UK's doing the second lockdown. Yeah. I don't know if Joe Biden becomes the president after all this drama. We'll see. If we're gonna go into another lockdown. But what's going on there with the lockdowns?
Actually, like I said, I tell people all the time because we get a lot of calls to people wanting to come to South Africa, and one of the biggest questions is, what about the lockdown and what's going on with COVID? We're not in the same boat as America, obviously. They actually did a true hard lockdown. It was hard.
It was rough.
Yeah.
I'm talking like restrictions on things like how often you can be outside of your house kind of lockdown. You can only exercise for 3 hours between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. kind of lockdown. Only leave your house for, essentials. And if you're caught even crossing into a province, there's a cop right there. Like we were locked down.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's left now is that, a mask are mandatory. So, so you must wear a mask. You won't get service if you walk into a place without a mask. If you walk around without a mask, people would just look at you funny, first of all. What else? There is a curfew. I think it's a 10 p.m. curfew. You must be home, but it's over at 4 a.m. Things like that. It's very little, very small things, but people are still mindful. You will get temperature checked, and of course, you will have to sanitize. So if you're going from store to store, you will get you will be sanitized, temperature checked. So they take it very seriously here in South Africa.
Yeah, because I saw a video during y'all lockdowns. I think it was out of Soweto, and people was outside, and the police was kicking butt to get people back in the house.
Yeah, because the big thing is they don't want to overwhelm the system here, the healthcare system. They have a great, robust healthcare system for normal times. Obviously, this isn't normal times, so they're like, okay, let's make sure everybody. Get back in the house and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it worked. The numbers are down. The numbers are basically staying down. I think we got one province, the Eastern Cape, that's the numbers are starting to creep back up. And that's what the president said tonight on TV. I'm the president of South Africa. But besides that, he just wants everybody to be mindful. And then, of course, keep the groups down a little bit and just be mindful and wear your mask.
And what's the main population of Eastern Cape?
Eastern Cape there's a lot of Black South Africans. There are some white South Africans because it butts up right towards the Western Cape. Western Cape is where Cape Town is, and still it's more Blacks there, but you have the most population of whites in South Africa in Cape Town and around Cape Town. And then of course you have a colored community as well there in Cape Town or in the Eastern Cape. Well, in Cape Town and the Eastern Cape.
Okay. So, and it's spiking in that area, no other areas?
No, everywhere else is, no. I'll not be honest with you, it's the same phenomena that I see in the U.S. Black people in the U.S. seem to be wearing their masks, but then you look around on news channels and you see white people not wearing their masks. Yeah, here, same thing. White people, they don't want to wear their mask, but the blacks or black people or the black South Africans, they wear their masks.
Interesting. Yeah, I was just it's just my hypothesis about some things. Y'all just confirming, but I'm pretty sure maybe people could read between the lines what I was confirming.
Sure.
But let's talk about another thing I was asked about in the email, because originally you guys came on, we talked about having a trip, because I actually was asked to email about this just recently, actually. So I'll say, listen, I'm asking when they come on, because all the things with COVID happened, it hit. It hurts people's finances, or maybe you got some calls now, probably more than ever. I don't know. But what is the status of that particular, trip in itself? I mean, could you give us, the update to that? Was it, is it, what month it could happen? Are you in talks with people? Like, where were we at on that?
Well, where we are right now is that we moved the trip to February. Somewhere around February 13th, I believe. My dates could be off a little bit, but I've sent out an email to everyone who was registered to go to the Johannesburg and to Cape Town with you guys. So they all are aware that the trip just needs to be paid 30 days in advance. And now that travel is open, the trip will definitely happen in February. We've even offered some people the opportunity to reschedule if they can't come in February, so they won't lose their money and they can still enjoy South Africa.
So the other date that you may have outside of February, what would that be?
It would probably be in September.
We'll probably just push it to September since that was the original date anyway. We were still trying to, move it. Hopefully we could get it done sooner. But if for some reason it's looking like it's going to be too much of a hassle for the people that have already registered, then we'll have a conversation and make a decision to maybe move it to September. That'll give them probably more time to finish paying on it. A lot of them have already finished paying for it. And then a couple people still need paperwork, but I'm communicating with them as best as I can to let them know that the trip is still scheduled for February.
Yeah, and I think it'd be another opportunity for those because there were a lot of people that really wanted to go on the trips, and then even last year the dates didn't line up. And of course we do understand that because of COVID, I mean it took the whole world for a trip, and of course we're not immune. So I would say if we end up, pushing it out if we end up doing it in September, because of just to get the numbers, there are people that can revisit this and come on this trip. It's going to be an amazing trip. Yeah. Tourism is going to be back in full swing. Yeah. As of probably tomorrow. They've been waiting the entire time to open this up. Yeah. The tourism industry has actually been pushing the government to allow the international travel. Now they had it, but obviously certain countries were banned, and then some of those countries on the ban list are some of their biggest clients. So now they're like, okay, we're going to take all the precautions that we need to take, as an industry, and the government agreed, and the industry are taking the precautions. So now that's an opportunity for us to come down here and enjoy ourselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. And sunny South Africa.
Yeah, and some of my concern was, like for instance, what would the flight come out of? New York, right?
Correct. Out of New York.
And my concern is New York is being so like every other day they changing something up. Now they have it where you got to get a COVID test to even go into New York if you want to go visit now. I mean, then next step, they didn't talk about you got restaurants got to start closing at 10 o'clock. That now, so we don't know what New York is about to do within this short amount of time. So it may not even be on the South Africa side now. It may be on the U.S. side that may be the issue. So maybe even doing something. I mean, that's why I was like, maybe you guys will have information from the airports. Maybe you can also let people know about that as well.
Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely put that out. And like I said, as far as America is concerned, we do get the news, but we don't get all the updates that you guys get. I'm hoping with this election and of course the peaceful transition of power that's supposed to be happening right about now. President-elect, Joe Biden will, put a good plan in place, and hopefully, COVID will be defeated.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to move on the right way.
Definitely. Cause we don't, like I said, we are, a lot of people are having COVID fatigue, just like most of us. And like I said, I think traveling, getting families, back to moving around again. But what's so upsetting is that you see all these, people, like mainly, I would say Trump people, but they got people over there that's not Trump people doing the exact same thing. I don't know if it's a cultural thing with them. I don't know, but they just do not want to follow no kind of rules.
Yeah. I would say, it's for us, it's fortunate because they're the minority. And then they're in a mostly a small space. So like here in Johannesburg, where we are, everywhere I've been, they wear their masks, because they know better. And everybody follows what the president says, and the president, he actually provides the leadership that we need. And so at the end of the day, with all of that, you ultimately just feel safe because, if somebody has it, but they have their mask on. But down in the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape, which are the southern portions, we call it the Republic of the Western Cape here in South Africa.
Well, this is the thing also, now a lot of people, you seeing all things going on in America. Like I said, we had the George Floyd. Now you're talking about peaceful transition of power, and you worked in the government. You kind of seeing any of that. You seeing how Trump is acting right now, where he don't even want Biden or none of them to even transfer anything. He's saying that he's not conceding. He's saying he's filing lawsuits. I mean, what's the word about what people are thinking about our elections in South Africa?
Well, it's funny you say that. I was on there's a Black-owned news channel here called Newsroom Africa. Very popular. A lot of people watch it, and I was actually on that channel. And of course, you can watch that interview on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, The Real South Africa. You will see it. And they are very intense about our election. They understand, first of all, they want America to be okay. And a lot of times when they think of America, they're kind of thinking about us in particular. Number two, they understand that a lot of their things that happen here in South Africa is tied to America in some ways. And so it really matters to them who's the president. And I will also say that, obviously we're Americans and we got a lot of South African friends. We've been stopped many a times. We've been called every time something happened during that election, prior to the election. Anything Trump did, we get a phone call or a text message.
They're telling us what's happening. We're like, hold on.
Yeah. So they're very intense about our elections. And keep in mind, for example, the major news channels here, you don't get them in the US, but the CNN is the same one that you watch is the same one they're watching. And they're floored based off what they see. They're like, there's no way he can get reelected. And I'm like, you don't know America.
Yeah, I mean, look how many people voted for him. I mean, they say 70 million people voted for him. You understand what I'm saying? And, like I said, some people feeling that, some shenanigans went on, because I mean, I saw that he was up in certain states and all of a sudden, it flipped overnight. And they say a lot of it was mail-in ballots, but he did encourage his people to go on election day and not do mail-in ballots. Because what if they had some people that supported him that was sick and shut in and couldn't go, but they maybe could have did a mail-in ballot. So I think he shot himself in the foot by not telling his people to do mail-in ballots.
Yeah, well, obviously they have a strategy going into the fight. He got hit and now he doesn't, now he's fending for himself. Ultimately he will have to, from my perspective, I know he will have to leave. He just ultimately will have to leave. my personal opinion, I think that he's, I understand. I know how Jefferson Davis became the leader of the Confederacy. I do, and I feel like this man has a serious following of over 700. Well, I mean, excuse me, 70 million people who voted for him, and there's probably others. He's not taking that lightly. He's going to try to leverage that to do something. So I think that's what we're pretty much looking out for at this point.
Yeah, because I tell people, I said, we have a long time he's in office, and like I say, he's being too quiet. I always tell people when Trump is too quiet, he's plotting something. He's plotting something, and they say he about to go back and start doing rallies again.
Yeah, I saw that because he's trying to gin up his base. Like I said, if he leaves, okay, he might leave the presidency behind, but he still have millions and millions of followers, and I think he's going to figure out some way to leverage all those followers to
splinter.
Yeah, to divide America even more and just cause issues and whatnot. So I don't know what he's going to do, but I know that whatever he's going to do is not going to be peaceful. It should be, but it's not going to be.
I'm just going to add to that really, really quickly. Mm-hmm. I think that he's going to be more dangerous out of office than he is in office. And that's when you're talking about him having rallies and ginning up his base. Like, that's what scares me.
Yeah. Oh, do you think he's going to leave office?
He's going to have to leave office, unfortunately. Even if it's, the Constitution is pretty clear, January 20th at noon. And obviously, there are people, right? And I understand that a lot of people that are saying that, the election's not certified, you can't believe the news, this and that. But at the end of the day, there's going to be a lot of pressure to determine, who won, the guy who got 75 million votes or the guy who got 70 million votes. But like I said, strange things have happened before. But I think it's pretty clear that Joseph Biden won the election based off the numbers that are reported. And if he doesn't leave, then, like I said, there'll probably be other measures taken. But he ultimately has to go.
Yeah, it's a crazy situation, man. But like I said, on the continent, outside of that, I was watching. What's the deal? Like I say, Julius Malema, they trying to hold a case against Malema. What they trying to do? Jam him up, put him in jail?
I haven't been following that, but and not to skip your question because I haven't been following it, but I can tell you this: they've been doing a lot of, if you were an official and a governor or a mayor or somebody in a position. Lately, they've been going through, and if you did anything corrupt, they're coming after you.
And they don't care how long ago it was.
They're coming after you, and they're doing everything to clear up this corruption. It's amazing some of the people that are very important people, influential people who they're going after. They have a team here. It's called the Hawks. They're like the FBI.
But what I heard about Malema, it wasn't like a corruption. It was something about some police or something about the police or something that he got into it with, and they trying to like lay charge on him with that. I didn't hear anything about corruption. But that's good to clean up corruption, though. It's good to doing that.
Like I said, as far as that's concerned, it might have been something that just happened probably today. I don't know when that happened, but every day, all day, for the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. If you did something 6 years ago, you better they got cases on people, and they're literally taking people's property. Like they may have bought a home, and they'll say, okay, you got till this weekend to move out, and we're going to seize that property. And every day they're going after somebody. So I think one of the bigwigs in the ANC, they actually arrested him, and he bailed out. He got bailed out, but now he's facing charges. So they're doing what they got to do to clean up this corruption. And I think a lot of it came because of the COVID situation. A lot of money got missing. A lot of things started happening. And so the president's like, go after him.
Well, that's good they're doing that because, on the continent, corruption is an issue. And like I said, we got corruption in America. You know that by working in Washington. There's plenty of corruption. They just hide it a little bit better. than maybe some of them what they're doing over there. But to the people that, like I said, but let's circle back around to the trip. To the people that are going on there, like are people like, are they getting reminded about payments? If they're paying payments, I don't know. I'm just trying to cover all bases. Or maybe they say, oh shoot, I forgot about that payment.
Actually, we gave everyone the option. So some people are making payments. Like I said, some people have already paid for the trip in full. Some people are waiting to know that the trip is going to happen for sure before they start making payments again. But now that we know that travel is back open, I'll send out an email blast and let them know, and then they'll have until basically the next 2 months to get it paid if we're going to still come in Feb. Otherwise, like we said, we'll move the trip till September. But right now it's looking like February.
All right. So, tell people, definitely how can they get to, everything you have, website, YouTube channel, or if somebody want to sign up for that trip.
Okay. Yeah. If you're looking at want to sign up for the trip, just send us an email to info@therealsouthafrica.com. Just indicate that you're coming on the African Diaspora channels trip. Just put that in there and just say you want all the information. We will send you all the information. You'll get a beautiful packet that talks about what you're going to be doing in Johannesburg, and then of course the flight down to Cape Town, and then we're going to, then you'll have an itinerary. You'll be able to see where you're staying. The places you're going to be staying are going to be awesome. And the reason we say that because we like to pick nice places to stay, because we all like to lay our head in nice places.
Absolutely.
The events that you're going to do are going to be great as well, and because we want you to get to understand South Africa, and the best way to do it is as a tourist, using all the tourism mechanisms. So we got that all set up for you, and then of course by the time you arrive, like I said, whatever apprehensions you may have about South Africa, or better yet, all the preconceived notions like, hey, I think it's this, get here, get on ground, see it for yourself, make your own conclusions, and then once you start seeing the people, you start saying, wow, maybe I should have been coming here
a little bit
more often, and I see why people gravitate to this place and so forth. So it'll be a great time.
And if they want to follow us on our YouTube channel, just go to YouTube and then, of course, search The Real South Africa. Most of the content there shows you all the positivity that you're going to actually experience when you come to South Africa on a trip. So if you follow us there, you'll see some of our daily escapades. Sometimes they're over a weekend. Sometimes I jump off, planes in the middle of the air, just so you guys can see all of the things that South Africa offers. So
she bungee jumped the other day. That's what she did.
It was like a fake bungee jump, but I still did it. So just go to the YouTube channel to find out more information that's more positive about what's actually happening in South Africa, what everyday life is like. Because our main goal is for you to experience South Africa the real way, like everyday life. So you can follow us on YouTube to do that. And of course, come with Phil on a trip so you can see it for yourself.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll put everything in the pinned comment. If you're interested in the trip itself, definitely, contact them. They will get you on, definitely the right path. Any information, emails, it will go to them. Like I said, I will direct you to them. Like I said, because they ask me, hey, Phil, what about this? Say, no, you need to go to the facilitators. And so I don't really have that information. I don't want to give you nothing wrong. So, definitely, let's say, we're glad you guys are doing well. You're surviving that lockdown. Yeah, because the African countries had real lockdowns. We didn't.
Real lockdowns.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm glad you guys survived that. And you guys be blessed.
Absolutely. Have a good one. Thanks for having us.